Right now in the NFL, you've got the NFL Combine going on out in Indianapolis, and there were three big kind of nuggets, news stories that dropped today, and they all had something to do with the NFC West. And it got me thinking, I've been wanting to do this video for a bit, kind of an NFC West state of the division video, like a really early version of it. And then we'll come back to it. And anyway, well, I want to know what you guys think. What's up, everybody? I'm Seth Hansen. This is the Seth Floyd Show. Guys, when I hit record on this video tonight, we were at 351 subscribers, which is incredible. Insane is also an appropriate word for it. Thank you so much. If you're new here, please hit subscribe. It helps me a lot for everything I want to get done to accomplish my long-term goals. Just once, every person who can hit subscribe does a lot for me. So I appreciate it. Hit it if you can. It doesn't cost you anything. It just helps your boy out. Like the video as well. Share it with your friends, all that good stuff. So those three pieces of news. First, the big one was after 48 hours of it feeling like Matthew Stafford was going to be traded, probably to the Raiders, and he went skiing with Tom. Apparently they just shred in the offseason. He's back. He's back with the Rams. We don't know what the numbers are with his contract. It doesn't even sound like they gave him more money or anything. It just sounds like they restructured it. I don't know how much guaranteed money was left on his contract that they could have just bumped up. Whatever. They did something. They did something to make him a little happier. Okay. As a 49ers fan for 2025, like that kind of sucks. I was kind of hoping he'd be gone. Excuse me. It was the only thing that made sense though. Like the Rams think they can win a Super Bowl next year, so moving off your quarterback didn't make any sense. For Matthew Stafford, bro, you're 37. Like you are not, unless you were going to go to a Super Bowl contender, like what's the point of leaving for an extra 10 mil? I mean, who am I to talk? $10 million is a lot of money, but he's made a lot of money. Like, holy crap, man. You have an opportunity, though, to stay, potentially win a Super Bowl. And I think that's probably what he realized, too. Like, I'm really going to go play for the Giants. I'm going to go play for the Raiders. Like, I don't know. Not that there's anything wrong with those franchises, but neither of them feel close to winning a Super Bowl, especially in those divisions, like those tough divisions. Anyway, so it made sense. It made sense that he's going to come back. I don't think it's the end of the world, 49er fans. Like, Stafford gives them the best opportunity to win, but Stafford has been very hot and cold. I looked it up earlier when I was having a discussion, like, should they trade off of him? I mean, like, he's not untradeable. He wouldn't have been untradeable. Like, this year he was in 13th in passing. Maybe it was 11th in passing yards. Had like 20 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. 2 years ago, he was 13th in passing yards, had 24 touchdowns, but 11 interceptions. Like, nothing that blows any of this out of the water. Okay, they've been a good team, but it's not Matthew Stafford just wheeling and dealing and dicing people up. Okay, he hasn't done that since 2021, the year they won the Super Bowl. We had 41 touchdowns. I think he might have had 17 interceptions that year. He's always been a guy who's gonna throw you the ball, the other team the ball. Anyway, this isn't a Matthew Stafford bashing session. I'm a pretty pro Matthew Stafford, but he's not a top 5 guy. So I think if you're a 49ers fan, it's not the end of the world. The other bit of news is DK Metcalf. Apparently, like there's trade talks with the Seahawks and Green Bay for DK Metcalf. Seattle's hard to figure it out, but I will say this as I'm going to get into this NFC West talk like I previewed, but Seattle's going to be good.
Shut your mouth.
I don't know if trading DK is the right move for them, and it sounds like that it was a Seahawks beat reporter that put this out that DK Metcalf, the Packers have an offer on the table from the Seahawks. So it sounds like they've been talking back and forth, and Seattle has said, look, if you want DK, this is what it takes. Pick number 23, that's the Packers' first-round pick, and then either Dontavian Wicks or Romeo Doubs, and you can have DK. If I'm the Packers, like that's too steep. That's too steep. I think DK is very good. I don't think DK ever became what people thought he was going to become after like his rookie year and his second year. Like he's built like Terrell Owens. He runs like a 4.3. Like he looks and feels the part, like watching him play football, but for some reason the production just hasn't been there. I think he's a number 1 in the league. I'm not trying to like disrespect DK, but I don't think anyone seriously thinks he's like a top 5, top 8 receiver in the league. Maybe 8, I don't know. I would have to list it out, but you get what I'm saying. Like that, so that feels like a lot to me. If I were the Packers, like no way am I giving up my first round pick and one of these other guys is a contributor. That feels steep to me. It feels like the 23rd pick should just be able to get it done. But if the Seahawks don't want to let him go, then that makes sense. They're just like, look, you'd have to blow us away to be able to prime away from us. And then lastly, we've talked about this before. Feels like Debo. I thought I was on the record saying last time I talked about Debo that he was going to get cut, not traded, just for cap reasons. Why would a team trade for him? And then Matt Berry today, bombshell, said, yeah, like he was on his podcast. I don't know if you guys saw that. You can go look up the video on YouTube. That's where I saw it. NBC Sports, he does this podcast, Matthew Berry. I'm sure you've heard of him if you're into the NFL at all. And they were asking him, what have you heard these last few days? Anything interesting? And he said, yeah, one thing I've gathered, Debo Samuel will be traded in the next handful of days, not cut. He will be traded in the next few days. So it sounds like, and that comes on the back of like, oh, the Houston Texans and the Washington Commanders are very interested in Debo Samuel, and the talks have increased and picked up. So it sounds like there's a little bit of back and forth. There sounds like there's a little bit of a bidding war, and if you're a 49er fan, that's great. You want a bidding war. Because if there's no bidding war, you're probably just going to cut him to save, because you're going to save more money if you cut him with a post June 1st designation. You would save more money. But if you get 2 teams bidding, and they're going to give you a draft pick that makes it, okay, it's worth it to take a bigger cap hit, but we get a draft pick out of it, or 2, that's worth it. And if you got 2 teams competing, like that's going to drive the price up. I don't know what it'll be. Ultimately, like if you get a 4th and a 6th for Debo or something, like you should be dancing on the hood of your car on the streets, like we back up type of thing, because I didn't think we were going to get anything for Debo. So I say all this to say that. And Cardinals fans, sorry, nothing in the news for the Cardinals. What is the NFC West going to look like in 2025? I know that 49er fans in general, like, feel pretty good. We feel pretty good about 2025 going into the year. I think that, oh my gosh, excuse me. I think that, there's a lot of things you can point to about 2024. There were injuries, but there were holes in certain things within the defense schematically. There's holes on the offensive line. And a lot of that came to light in 2024. And I think that's a good thing. I think all 49er fans agree that's a good thing. And it feels like the organization has turned over a new leaf this offseason. They've refocused and are determined to not let 2024 ever happen again. Kind of those kind of vibes. It helps that you've also signed Robert Saleh. You brought him back. Like that's big time. 49er fans are excited because they have the 11th pick. Hopefully, if you draft well, you net somebody who instantly makes you better. And the end-all be-all 4th place schedule, as many people saw right after the season ended, the 49ers, based on last year's records, 49ers have the easiest schedule in the NFL going into next year. That 4th place schedule has netted them the Chicago Bears, the New York Giants, and the Cleveland Browns. Okay, instead of the combination of those, teams in those divisions. So, like I know 49er fans, we feel pretty good. But I do want to say about the Rams and the Seahawks especially. The Rams are going to be on their up and up. Okay, the Rams are always a threat, as we've seen, even when they start terrible. They're always a threat because Sean McVay is that good. And Matthew Stafford is very good. He is that good. My hesitations with Matthew Stafford are 100% based on age and based on health, okay? But when he's healthy, and just assuming Matthew Stafford doesn't have a Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, like nosedive off a cliff type in his performance, which nothing says physically like he's not going to be able to have the arm strength or anything anymore. Like the Rams are going to be good. They've hit on their last couple of draft classes. They're going to be good, okay? I think that this Rams team this year, it was a little misleading given how mediocre the NFC West was. If you look at some of I don't know what statistics you're into, whatever, but some of their efficiency numbers are like historically bad for a team that won a playoff game. So we'll see if I'm saying if they remain at this efficiency level and play that way next season, they probably won't be as successful. But McVay is a good coach, and I again, as long as Stafford's healthy and he doesn't have a nosedive off a cliff, like he's going to play well. So I think the Rams are going to be good. I think if I'm being honest, I'm a little more worried about the Seahawks than I am the Rams. And that feels a little gross to say because I hate Seattle. They're like my least favorite team in the NFL. But I believe in their head coach, unfortunately. They did win 10 games this year. The one thing about Seattle is I'm not a Geno Smith believer as far as like, hey, you guys are a contender to win the Super Bowl, like a real threat to win the Super Bowl. Like with Geno Smith there, I don't see it or believe it. Geno's been a great story, but I don't think he's going to be that guy unless you really do hit and just have these all pros everywhere. And Seattle fans, you can say the same about Purdy. Fine. Like I'm just saying, like, I don't think Geno's the guy. And I think in your heart, most of you feel the same way too. I think you're like, Geno's been a great story, but I don't think he's the guy. I'm ready for something new. But I will say, I think their defense is going to be really good next year. I think they hired Kubiak to be their OC from New Orleans. I think he's pretty good. I think that they're on their way, and I think they're ascending in the right direction. So I think Seattle is going to be a better Seattle team than the 49ers have seen in 3 or 4 years. I think it's going to be a bloodbath against Seattle. Just my initial read on it. And I think the Cardinals are moving in the right direction, just at a slower pace. I still like, it's crazy. Kyler has been in the league now for how long has it been? 4, 5 years, 6 years. And I still feel like I don't have a good read on how good he really is as a quarterback. But I think that when he wants to play hard, he gets it done. When he wants to be that dude, he can be that dude. He just doesn't feel like he wants to be that guy all the time. But I think they're slowly itching in the right way. I love James Conner. He's one of my favorite football players in the NFL. Trey McBride is great. Okay, Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be very good. So I'm saying all that to say this. I think the NFC West next season is going to be looked at as one of the better divisions in the league. I think you're going to look at the NFC West kind of like how excuse me, at the end of next season, people will talk about the NFC West like they've been talking about the NFC North. Like, remember how everyone was talking about the NFC North coming into this season? And they were right. Basically, I think more people thought they thought the Bears would be really good and the Vikings would be bad, and clearly that was wrong. But you get what I'm saying. I think that at the end of the year, at the end of 2025, people are going to be like, man, the NFC West is a powerhouse. And I think they're all heading in the right direction. So, 49er fans, we have tons of reasons to be excited, okay? Up until last year, we'd been dominating that division. But I don't think this year is just going to be like a smooth sailing, like 2023, you have the division wrapped up by Thanksgiving or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. I think that with how easy the schedule is, I think you should be a playoff team, no excuses. Even if you don't win the division, let's say Seattle is really as good as I think they could be, or let's say Matthew Stafford goes on a heater like he did in 2021, 40 touchdowns, and the Rams are just too good, 14-3, win the division. That's possible. That's in the realm of possibility. Your schedule is so easy that you should be in the playoffs. And if you're not in the playoffs, then we're going to start having a conversation about major changes, it feels like. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're in the playoffs. So it's going to be a bloodbath. This is essentially what I'm saying. This is like a really easy state of the division video. There's so much that has to happen. You still have free agency. You still have the draft. So we'll revisit it all, see how it all looks. But when I think about the NFC West and I think about especially the Rams and the Seahawks, I'm like, man, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Neither of those teams looked amazing to me last year, but they're heading in the right direction. And then the Rams won a playoff game. They almost beat the Eagles. Seattle's defense really started to figure it out. And it feels like Coach McDonald is just steering the ship in the right direction. So anyway, big things to watch. News coming up this weekend. Hopefully we get some resolution on this Debo situation. I'm hoping for a 4th round pick. That'd be incredible. And then the DK Metcalf. I don't know how much legs that story really has, but I guess we'll see. But it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be a fun weekend, and we got a fun football season coming up, guys. Combine's going on. Tune into the combine. See who the Niners might have their eye on. When that combine is over next week, we're gonna do a live show mock draft. So tune in for that. If you're still here, if you haven't hit subscribe yet, please hit subscribe. Make my dreams come true. Be a full-time content creator one day, and that's what I got for you. I'm out.